In my paper, I would like to give you a short report on my latest research project. What I'm trying to do is to trace the history, technical innovations, and transformations of a camera shutter release button and consider how these transformations affect the role of a camera operator, change photographic gesture, influence photography practices and photography itself. In this regard, I focus mainly on photography practices in everyday life, that is, a home mode, family, popular, or in the broadest sense, vernacular photography. One part of this more comprehensive project is to address sweeping changes in contemporary photography practices. The present paper thus aims to contribute to the conference theme by examining the changing socio-technical conditions of photography brought about by emerging visual technologies designed to replace human camera operators by non-human operators. In this regard, the paper addresses those photography technologies which are not designed for the press-the-button gesture, but rather for a variety of the set-and-forget operations. Discussing several examples of the growing family of that what I call buttonless cameras, the paper argues that instead of having photography under control of human beings, we are facing the spread of cameras operating beyond or out of human control. It is hard to overestimate the significance of a shutter button for the conception of photography. Probably only with the exception of cameraless photography, pushing the button is simply a crucial act and moment in the photographic process, at least since 1880s, Kodak's "you push the button, we do the rest" revolution. As recently demonstrated Rachel Plotnik in her excellent book Power Button, A History of Pleasure, Panic and the Politics of Pushing, the entanglement of a photographic camera into the modernity, industrialization, consumer culture and automatization has been significantly realized through the push button. Since 18th century, as she argues, we can explore the widespread processes of the buttonization of society. Buttons express the modern desire to effortlessly control machines, environments, and daily mundane activities. Pressing the button is also always enchanting, magical act. Operations set off by pressing the button are black-boxed from our side, and buttons thus call into action magical, unseen servants concealed in the inside of the machine. It was particularly Wilhelm Flusser who significantly warned against the dangers of automatization and autonomous apparatuses. On the last pages of his 1983 book Towards a Philosophy of Photography, Flusser writes, "Apparatuses were invented in order to function automatically, in other words, independently of future human involvement. This is the intention with which they were created, that the human being would be ruled out." This Flusser's observation has been recently recalled when scholars and critics addressed increasing automation and robotization of technical images and visual culture. As a result, our critical vocabulary has been enriched by several conceptions pointing to automatic apparatuses equipped with sensors and fed with algorithms. Images that are known as operational, non-human, soft, programmatic, computational, or mindless are characterized by their embeddedness in machine-to-machine interactions upon which human control could be applied only to a limited extent. However, these conceptions seem to be less useful outside the military and industrial context upon which they were mainly formulated and developed. When focusing on everyday family photography practices, one can hardly employ conceptions of, for example, operational and non-human photography. Family steps still rather represent than operate. They can hardly fall into the category of non-human photography as it was defined by Joanna Zylinska, because they are still photographs of humans, for humans, and they are mostly created by humans. My aim is thus to contribute to the automatization and robotization debates by proposing a tentative conception of buttonless cameras, that is, cameras which are designed, imagined, and conceived as not being equipped with a shutter release button, or cameras that are at least designed to eliminate the human press-the-button gesture. There are several types of cameras that could be considered as buttonless. However, I will focus only on 4 recent examples. In 2015, Nikon launched the Hartographic campaign promoting Coolpix's L31 camera equipped with the Hartographic smart case that captures a photo when emotions of a wearer, in this case a dog as you can see, arise and the heart rate increases. This contraption connecting emotions with photography was only a marketing fiction, never meant to be manufactured. However, at least the viral success of the campaign signals social acceptability of cameras operated by sensors and algorithms instead of human hands and fingers. It has been argued that camera phones, particularly iPhone, are the first devices that combines all important elements of photography, the making, processing, editing, showing and distributing of images. iPhone thus seems to give a human operator a power to control photography in its entirety. However, there is one recent technological advancement that questions Apple's marketing slogans, arguing that iPhone empowers photographers to master the photography. Starting with last year, iPhone 11 and even more enhanced in a new iPhone 12, the iPhone takes images using a variety of data collected by multiple cameras and several sensors. To produce a photograph, iPhone takes and combines 8 single images. Crucial is that 4 of these images are taken by the iPhone before you press the button. When a photographer touches the shutter button, the iPhone only grabs a photo it has already taken before a camera operator even touches the screen. We can argue that this is still a deliberate photographic act, but it is deliberate not in the moment of taking an image, but instead in the moment of sorting and selecting the best one of many already taken. The Google Clips camera is the representative of one of the most recent innovations that was designed for use in everyday and particularly family photography. It is a miniature, hands-free, fully automatic and autonomous AI camera able to recognize and capture memorable family moments occurring within the range of its 130 degrees lens field of view. Following mainly Google's promotional formulas, see the bottom side of the box in which is camera packaged, notably the slogan "Look No Hands," passing the camera from the hands of human operators to machines and AI frees family members from traditional photographic labor. Google argues that without being interrupted by the act of picture-taking, one can enjoy everyday family life more spontaneously and authentically. Following these promises, Google Clips camera could have a potential to change relations between human and non-human operators and transform family photography practices and even family life itself, to make not only an authentic record of our life, but also to make the life itself more authentic, or rather more surveilled and creepy. The creepiness is probably one of reasons why Google Clips camera has not been successful. It was announced in October 2017, released for sale in January 2018, and discontinued and pulled from the Google Store in October 2019. Google Clips died very young, but the idea of automatic family photography technology is still strongly present in Google strategies. Recently I watched the Google commercial promoting Nest Cam Smart Home 24/7 camera system, which is my first example of buttonless cameras. The commercial enumerates all wonderful uses and functions of this technology, plus one I did not expect at all. Users are encouraged to use this system as a means for taking family photographs. Google Nest Cam technically operates in a very similar way as Google Clips camera. However, there is one important difference. Nest Cam is embedded in the discourse of home security, and thus it is probable that users will not consider this camera system as uncontrollably invading their homes and privacy. It is not difficult even to imagine the Nest Cam as a technology that once will autonomously take, edit, sort, and preserve our family snaps, create, disseminate, and display our family albums. In the near future, it is not exaggerated to foresee the family photography as mostly a non-human activity.